Assalamualaikum and hi Doctor. I'm Nur Huzaifa binti Ahmad Zaini and we are from Group 2. We represent our assignment which entitled Critical Thinking. For this presentation, we will cover on introductions of critical thinking, perceptions, arguments and conclusion. First of all, I will give a briefly introduction on what is critical thinking. Critical thinking is the intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, or evaluating information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication as a guide to belief and action. In simple words, critical thinking adalah kebolehan manusia untuk membentuk konsep, memberi sebab dan membuat penentuan. The importance of critical thinking is that we can evaluate the situation using logical thought and offer the best solution for the problem. A simple example of having a critical thinking is a plumber evaluates the materials that will best suit a particular job. Next, we move to how critical thinkers think. Usually, critical thinkers do not simply accept all ideas, theories, and conclusions as fact. For example, if they are given a statement or information about coronavirus, they will be simply think of several questions such as what information support that, how was this information obtained, who obtained the information, how do we know the information is valid, why is that way, what makes it do that way, or are they have any other possibilities. So if you have all these several questions in your mind when you see any statement or information, it shows that you are one of the critical thinkers. Next, we move on the advantages and disadvantages of critical thinking. There are few advantages of critical thinking. First, we have the ability to think clearly and rationally. Second, we have the ability to analyze information objectively. Third, we have the ability to understand the logical connection between ideas. And last, we have the ability to make reasoned judgment. However, there is disadvantages of critical thinking. It is one of the killer of dreams. How I said it is killer of dreams? For examples, 1 minute you dream being become a greatest artist, but when you start to analyze it critically, you will notice the huge gaping holes in that plan of yours due to realities and practicalities of life came crashing down in you. Then you will start to have a second thoughts and will be confronted with countless dilemmas.
Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. So my name is Intan Shafinas binti Bidin. So I'm going to present about perception. Perception is the top-down way our brains organize and interpret that information and put it into context. Maksudnya, perception ni adalah salah satu cara di mana otak kita organize sesuatu dan dia interpret sesuatu sehingga menjadi satu conclusion. Dia melalui 3 cara iaitu attention, sensation and interpretation. Maksudnya sebagai contoh, kita tengok sesuatu dan bila kita tengok kita akan ada attention dan kita sense apa yang sedang berlaku and then otak kita akan interpret dan barulah kita buat satu conclusion di mana apa yang sedang berlaku.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nashta Husnia. So I'm going to continue with the factors that influence perception. So the factors that influence perception, we have 3 factors, which is perceiver, target, and situation. So first, I'm going to explain about the perceiver. Under perceiver, we have attitudes, which is an evaluative statement or judgment concerning objects, people, or value. It can reflect how we feel about something. Negative attitude will lead to bad perception, and positive attitude will lead to a good perception. So the next one is motive. Motive stimulates individual and may exert a strong influence on their perception. For example, here we have an insecure boss perceive subordinates' efforts to do an outstanding job as a threat to his or her position. So regardless of the subordinate's real intention, the boss perceives the subordinate's effort as a threat just because he or she is insecure. So the next one is interest. The things that people notice can be different due to the difference in individual interests. So I'm going to show a video in the next slide. Let's look at this video.
This is a test of selective attention. Count how many times the players wearing white pass the basketball. How many passes did you count? The correct answer is 15 passes. But did you see the gorilla?
So this video actually shows how interest decide what you notice. In the beginning of the video, your interest is on white shirt players. That's why you didn't notice the gorilla. However, after the video asks you whether you notice about the gorilla, then your interest changed to the gorilla. That's why you noticed the gorilla. So the next one is experience. So experience serves as a basis for perception. Successful experience help perceiver to understand stimuli with more accuracy. So for example, waktu kita kecil, when we first time jumpa crocodile, we may think that the crocodile is so cute. But then as we grow up, we know that the crocodile is dangerous and can eat human. Then we think that crocodile is dangerous, not cute anymore. So that's how experience can change someone's perception. When we didn't have experience about the crocodile, we think that the crocodile is cute. But after we know that crocodile is dangerous, then it is not cute anymore. The perception change. So the next one is expectation. Expectation is the anticipation of a particular behavior from a person. Just like how we expect lecturer to know everything about the subject that they teach. For example, we think that separation lecturer knows everything about separation. So now I'm going to explain about the next factors, which is target. We have novelty, which means something unique or unusual that will attract anyone's attention. So here in this picture, you will notice the orange color butterfly first compared to the blue color butterflies. This is because the orange color butterfly is unique compared to the other butterfly. Next, we have motion. People give more attention to moving objects compared to stationary objects. For example here, you will be more attracted to the ball on the left side compared to the ball on the right side. This is because the ball on the right side is moving. Next, we have sound, which is a psychophysical sensation perceived by the human auditory perception or the human ear-brain mechanism. People will more likely be attracted to loud sound compared to soft sound. For proximity, individual behavior may be perceived to be group behavior. Let's look at this picture. In this picture, the orange balls is considered as one group. In this picture, the same orange balls is considered as two groups. This one is a group and this one is a different group. This shows how proximity can change the perception that people have. The same orange ball which considered as one group is now considered as two groups just because there is a distance between these two rows. Next is the size. Larger size is more likely to be noticed. Now let's look at this picture. You will probably notice this star first compared to the other stars just because it is the largest star among all the stars. Background of a target can change the perception that people have. In this picture, we see as if the ball is moving. Now that the background is removed, we can see that it is actually static. That's how background of a target can change the perception that people have. Now we are going to look at the third factor, which is situation. Under situation, we have time. The time when the perceiver interacts with the target can change its perception. For example, here we have Nana wearing sport attire to jog at the park, and this may not be noticeable. However, when the same target wearing the same attire to dinner where people wear fancy clothes such as beautiful dresses and suits, this may attract one's attention. This shows how changes in time can change the perception people have on the same target. Next is the setting of situation. Setting of situation can be either work setting or social setting. For example, in the first situation, the first time you encounter a girl named May is at a cosmetic store where she works as a staff, and she has a very good manner and very friendly. In this case, you may think that May being friendly to you just because of her work. That is not her true character. However, in the second situation, where the first time you encounter May is in your classroom and she is your classmate, then you may think that she is very friendly and that is her true character. This is because the setting where you meet May is different. In the first situation, it is a work setting, and the second situation is the social setting. This shows how setting of situation can change the perception of a target.
Hello everyone, here Intan again. So, tak semua perception kita adalah betul. So, we have two errors in perception. First is illusion and another one is hallucination. So, illusion is false perception, which is mistake in stimulus and perceive it wrongly. Sebagai contoh, bila kita berada di dalam satu tempat yang gelap, kita akan berasa takut. Jadi bila kita takut, kita akan ada error dalam perception kita. Di mana bila kita terpegang satu tali, kita ingatkan dia ular. Ataupun kita terpegang ular sebenarnya, tapi kita ingatkan dia tali. So bila kita takut, kita akan buat perception yang salah. Seterusnya, hallucination. Di mana hallucination ni adalah the individual perceive some stimulus even it is not present. Macam illusion tadi, dia ada tapi salah. Tapi hallucination ni dia tak ada langsung pun, tapi kita punya stimulus boleh baca something dan membuatkan perception tu adalah perception yang salah. Sebagai contoh, orang-orang yang sedang mengambil dadah ataupun alkohol, dia akan nampak sesuatu benda ataupun orang ataupun dia terdengar sesuatu suara di mana sebenarnya dalam realiti benda tu semua tak ada pun. That is what we call hallucination. So tak semua perception adalah betul dan kita ada error, which is hallucination and illusion.
Assalamualaikum and hi everybody. I'm Nur Isalina binti Khaliluddin. I hope that everybody is in good shape right now. So I will continue the presentation, which is argument. What is argument? Argument is not something that we are fight for like this picture, but argument is a statement or set of statements which is known as premises that is used to try convincing people that their opinion about something is true. There are two types of arguments, which are deductive argument and inductive argument. Deductive argument is the argument that is intended to be valid or invalid. For inductive argument is the argument that is intended to be strong or weak. So how we can know the argument is valid, invalid, strong or weak? So let's see the next slide. Okay, this is the graphic for the good and bad argument. So for the deductive argument, it can be valid and invalid, right? So for the valid, if all the premises are true, then it is a good argument, which is soundly deductive argument. So if the deductive argument is valid and there's a false premise, so it becomes a bad argument. For the case that the deductive argument is invalid, it automatically becomes a bad argument. So it is an unsound deductive argument. Okay, for the next one is non-deductive argument, which is known as inductive argument. So it can be strong or weak argument. For the strongly inductive argument, if all the premises are true, then it becomes a good argument. So in case of the strong inductive argument, there is a false premises, therefore it becomes a bad argument. For the inductive argument, which is weak argument, it automatically becomes a bad argument. So it is an unconsciously inductive argument. So it's hard to understand, right, what I'm saying right now. So next we're going to see some examples. Here we will see some examples of deductive argument. The first one is valid deductive argument. The example is, it is sunny in Johor. If it is sunny in Johor, then he won't be carrying an umbrella. So, he won't be carrying an umbrella. The condition is, when it is sunny in Johor, then he won't be carrying an umbrella. So, right now, in Johor, it is sunny. So, it is right that he won't carrying an umbrella. So, it becomes valid deductive argument. The second one is invalid deductive argument. The example is, if there is a purple elephant in the hall, then I am a giant turkey. There is a purple elephant in the hall, therefore I am a giant turkey. It becomes invalid deductive argument because of purple elephant. There will be no purple elephant in the hall and it is not exist in this world. So, therefore, I will never become a giant turkey. So, it becomes invalid deductive argument. Now, we will see some examples of inductive argument. The first one is weak inductive argument. The example is, I have a very strong feeling that my bowling ball is the best ball. So, I'm quite confident I will win this tournament tonight. The problem in this argument is because it becomes weak because bowling ball is the best ball. It is just the feeling. In the tournament, it depends on your health condition and also how you throw the bowling ball. Okay, not because of that ball. And the second one is strong and unconscious inductive argument. The example is, if you smoke pot even only once in your life, you are very likely to start using heroin. You do smoke pot and therefore you will probably start using heroin. It is a strong inductive argument because when you start smoking, you will likely want to start using drug. Heroin is a drug. And then it becomes unconscious because only once in your life. You cannot become a drugger after you start smoke. Okay, and the third one is strong and congruent inductive argument. The example is, about 97% of climate experts agree that humans are causing global warming. Therefore, probably humans are causing global warming. So it is strong because 97% of climate experts. So it is true that humans are causing global warming. Now we will learn about syllogism. Syllogism is a method of reasoning by drawing a conclusion from two premises. The word is come from Greek word syllogismos, which means conclusion or interference. Syllogism can consist of three components: major premise, minor premise, and conclusion. Now I will pass to Intan Shafinas to explain more about syllogism. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Intan. So, there are four types of syllogism. First is categorical syllogism. Categorical syllogism is the premise are in category. Maksudnya dua-dua premise dia ikut kategori. Let's say if A is part of C, then B is part of C. Maksudnya kalau satu tu part C, yang lain pun kena part C kalau kategori yang sama. Contoh, all car brands have wheels. Ni major premise dia. I drive Proton Saga, minor premise. Therefore, my car has wheels. Second is conditional syllogism. Conditional syllogism contains at least one conditional proposition as a premise. Maksudnya, salah satu premise dia adalah conditional proposition. Let's say if A is true, then B is true. For example, if I love Malaysia, this is the major premise, then I must love nasi lemak. So maksudnya apa yang ada dalam Malaysia tu, kalau dia suka Malaysia means semua yang ada dalam Malaysia dia kena suka. This is conditional syllogism. Next, the third type of syllogism is disjunctive syllogism. Disjunctive syllogism contains two component preposition. Since A is true, B must be false. Maksudnya dia ada dua component proposition. Kalau salah satu betul, salah satu lagi mesti akan jadi salah. Sebagai contoh, Amy is either boy or girl. Maksudnya ni major premise dia, ada dua choice. Amy is not a boy. This is the second premise. Then Amy must be a girl. Maksudnya sebagai conclusion, dia akan conclude menggunakan premis yang bukan selain daripada premis yang kedua. Dia ada dua choice je, boy or girl. So kalau dia dah cakap dia bukan boy, means dia adalah girl. This is disjunctive syllogism. Then the last one is syllogistic fallacy. Syllogistic fallacy ni ada banyak contoh, which will be explained by the next person, Izzah Afiqah.
I am Nashita Husnia and I'm going to explain about the fallacies. A fallacy refers to a defect in the reasoning of an argument that causes the conclusion to be invalid, unsound, or weak. If a fallacy exists in a deductive argument, then the entire argument will be invalid. However, if a fallacy exists in an inductive argument, then the argument will weaken but still valid. There are two types of fallacies, which is formal fallacies and informal fallacies. For formal fallacies, we have three types, which is bad reason, maskman, and quantitative logic. Bad reason fallacy says that a premise of the argument is bad and therefore the conclusion is bad or invalid. We can summarize the fallacies as he gave bad reasons for his argument, therefore his argument is bad. And an example of argument with bad reason fallacy is such as, this girl has bad fashion style, therefore we have to fire her. This argument contains bad reason and therefore it is an invalid argument. The next fallacy is maskman fallacy, which involves a substitution of parties. According to maskman fallacies, if the two things we substitute are identical, then the argument is valid. For example here, Rosamund Smith wrote the book Nemesis, and Rosamund Smith is an alias for Joyce Carol Oates. Therefore, Joyce Carol Oates wrote the book Nemesis. So here, we substitute Rosamund Smith and Joyce Carol Oates, and the argument becomes valid. The third formal fallacies is the quantitative logic fallacies. So these fallacies focus on the use of some sort of quantifying word such as all or some. So depending on the quantifying word used, it will decide whether the argument is valid or not. For example here, we have argument that says all Malay are Muslim. So the quantifying word here is all. Then this argument becomes invalid. However, if the same argument use different quantifying word which is some Malay are Muslim, then this argument becomes valid.
Hi, so my name is Nur Iza Afika and I will present about informal fallacy. Terdapat banyak informal fallacy, but I will explain the familiar ones and I will go through one by one. Okay, the first informal fallacy is accident fallacy. Accident fallacy occur when general true statement is applied to a specific case that is somehow unusual. Kat sini maksudnya, bila general true statement diletakkan pada suatu case, benda tu somehow maybe akan jadi tak betul. Okay, sebagai contoh kat sini, cats are good pets. Cats are good pets is a general true statement. Kita tahu benda tu adalah betul. Lions are cat. That's also true. That's a fact. Therefore, lions are good pets. That's not true. So, kat sini kita boleh nampak yang tak semestinya general true statement bila digabungkan akan menjadi benda yang betul. Dia maybe akan jadi benda yang salah juga. So the next is genetic fallacy. Genetic fallacy is personal attack fallacy, where we shift the focus to individual instead of argument. Maksud dia kat sini, genetic fallacy ni adalah kita fokus kepada sifat atau sikap person tu sendiri, individual itu sendiri, berbanding dengan argument dia. Okay, kat sini ada contoh. Ada dua person which are person A and person B. Person A ni tanya, dia nak attend math or science tutor. But person B ni jawab, tak payahlah pergi, sama je, dua-dua akan fail punya. Macam tu. So, here you can see that person B tak menjawab pun argument person A, malah dia attack pula person A ni. Maybe lah person A ni malas, and maybe person A ni tak minat sangat akademik. So, here is the genetic fallacy example. Next one is ambiguity fallacy. Ambiguity fallacy is caused by ambiguity. Maksud ambiguity ni adalah sesuatu tu boleh menjadi dua makna. Okay, sebagai contoh kat sini, the green one said that dia nak jadi the first author on the paper, and the orange said, yeah, you will be the first paper author. So kat sini dia ada dua makna sebenarnya. Dia ada dua makna. Yang hijau ni nak jadi first author, while the orange ni cakap, oh, dia nak jadi first paper author. So, dia ada dua makna kat sini. Fallacies of appeal. Fallacies of appeal, dia ada 4 cabang, which are authority, emotion, ignorance, and pity. Authority ni, bila someone tu berjawatan tinggi, ataupun bila someone itu berpengaruh, semua benda yang dia cakap adalah betul. Itu adalah authority punya fallacy. Okay, saya bagi contoh lain. Dalam kelas, lecturer dengan student. Semua yang lecturer tu ajar atau semua yang lecturer tu cakap adalah betul bagi student. While tak semestinya semua benda yang lecturer ajar adalah betul. Kadang-kadang lecturer akan tersilap juga. So, it's authority. Next is emotions. Emotion ni bila kita express kita punya argument dengan emotion. Bila kita marah, kita buat argument dengan marah. Bila kita sedih, kita buat argument dengan sedih. Okay, next is ignorance. Ignorance ni kita tak ambil tahu pun. Kita just percaya macam bulat-bulat macam tu. Bila orang cakap, oh benda ni betul, okay, benda tu betul. Contoh dia, ghost. Kita percaya yang benda tu betul. Sebab tak pernah lagi orang buktikan yang benda tu tak ada. So, itu ignorance. Next is pity. Pity is when we attempt to win the argument by pointing out the unfortunate consequence. Maksudnya kita nak menang tapi dengan cara kita ungkit benda-benda yang maybe akan jadi. Contoh dia, seorang atlet, dia boleh menjadi atlet apabila grade dia lebih daripada C. Contoh grade dia dapat D dan dia pun jumpalah cikgu dia ni, dia cakap, oh saya kena dapat C. Kalau saya tak dapat C, saya tak akan jadi atlet. Bila saya tak akan jadi atlet, sekolah akan kalah. Bila sekolah akan kalah, sekolah tak akan dapat nama. So, dia menggunakan unfortunate consequence ni untuk menang, dapat C, untuk dapatkan naikkan grade dia. So, it's pity. Okay, here is black and white fallacy. Before I explain what is black and white fallacy, here I want to ask some opinion. So, from these two fonts, which one you like the most? Okay, next is house and car. with your first salary, which one you want to buy first? Kereta atau rumah? So when you guys dah pilih, so here is the black white fallacy, which I only give you two choices when in fact more than that exists. Maybe you guys can beli motor, you can beli jam with your first salary, tak semesti rumah atau kereta. So that's what black and white fallacy is. Composition fallacy. Composition fallacy occur when we assume that if all parts have given quality, then the whole part will have it as well. Kat sini nak cakap bila kita rasa semua parts tu have quality, then bila semua tu bersatu, dia ada quality tu juga. Sebagai contoh, I like smoothies for my breakfast. My favorite breakfast foods are scrambled eggs, fresh fruit, bagel with cream cheese, soy sauce, blah blah blah, blah pizza, and blah 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 blah. So, each of these food is delicious by its own. But what happens if I take all the food and make it smoothie? It will be disgusting. So here is the composition fallacy. Di mana bila kita rasa setiap food tu sedap, means bila kita campurkan dia akan jadi sedap. Tak semestinya. Division fallacy. Division fallacy ni adalah vice versa kepada composition fallacy. Division fallacy occur when we assume that if the whole part have given quality, then all the parts will have it as well. Maksudnya, seperti contoh tadi, okay, kat sini ada contoh juga pasal makanan. Bila kita rasa pizza tu sedap, tapi adakah setiap bahan daripada pizza tu adalah sedap? Adakah tepung itu sendiri sedap? Adakah minyak itu sendiri sedap? So, division fallacy, like I said, bila whole part sedap, tak semestinya setiap barang dalam part tu adalah sedap. False cause fallacy. False cause fallacy occurs when there exists a flawed causal connection between events. Maksudnya kat sini, ada punya sebab kepada sesuatu event tu salah, tak betul. So, sebagai contoh, masa kita kecil-kecil dulu, mak kita selalu cakap, jangan main hujan, nanti demam. Tapi adakah bermain hujan akan menyebabkan demam? Tidak sebenarnya. Scientifically, demam adalah disebabkan oleh virus, bukan dengan bermain hujan. So, ini adalah false cause. Okay, next is red herring. Red herring occurs when we introduce an irrelevant issues into the argument. Kita macam switch focus dekat argument tu. Okay, contoh dia. Each year, thousands of people die in car accident across the country. So why should we worry about endangered animals? So kat sini kita nampak dua-dua case, dua-dua event ni adalah besar. Ramai orang mati sebabkan car accidents. And binatang semakin pupus. So apa yang dia cuba buat adalah dia cuba switch focus daripada endangered animal ni, kita switch focus kepada people die in car accidents. Padahal dua-dua penting, tapi kita switch focus sebenarnya. Slippery slope fallacy. Believe one action will initiate a chain of event. Maksudnya kat sini, kita believe that satu action tu akan initiate another event. Sebagai contoh, sex education in school. Sex education akan menyebabkan pelajar curious. Bila pelajar curious, pelajar try nak buat. Bila pelajar try nak buat, akan jadi benda yang tak elok seperti anak luar nikah ataupun terkena penyakit HIV. Bila macam tu, dia punya akademik akan menurun. Bila akademik diorang akan menurun, diorang akan dibuang sekolah. So, this is the chain of event. Sebenarnya, tak semestinya pun sex education akan lead to all of this event. Because maybe sex education akan menyebabkan student itu sedar. Maybe akan menyebabkan student itu lebih berhati-hati. So, this is slippery slope fallacy. False analogy is a weak analogy occurs when there exists a poor connection between example. So, here is the example. Humans and animals are both living, breathing beings. Humans have civil right, therefore animals have civil right. So here kan, kita boleh tengok the first line, benda tu betul, tapi dia lemah. Alasan dia lemah. Human dengan animals memang dua-dua hidup, dua-dua bernafas. Tapi dari segi itu saja, while the others are semua different. Itu yang menjadikan conclusion itu sendiri salah. Last but not least, strawman fallacy. Strawman fallacy means attack the weakened version rather than the real argument. Maksudnya dalam argument tu, you guys cari the weak spot and you attack that weak spot. From the cartoon example here, the green cartoon said that they deserve a credit sebab dia ada contribute something to the paper. While the biru said, oh, so fame ni penting lah daripada science. So the blue cartoon tried to attack the weak spot of the green cartoon. So there's another example, the familiar example. Contoh masa kita kecil-kecil, kita tolong mak kita dan kita try to get upah from my mak kita. So nanti mak kita akan cakap, tak ikhlas lah tu. So that also one of the strawman example.
Hi, we meet again. I am Nur Huzaifa binti Ahmad Zaini. Finally, we come to an end for this presentation. We can conclude that critical thinking skills usually shows in discussion, where we have the ability to analyze information objectively and make a reasoned judgment. Next, perception is highly subjective. Different individuals have different perceptions toward the same things. That's all from us. Thank you.